All right, you guys. This is the launch mastermind on July 31st, 2020. I would love to speak with you guys. You know, the point of this is really to get a lot of like-minded people together who are experiencing similar things, who have similar goals, who are most likely experiencing similar successes and possibly and likely some frustrations, maybe, right? Struggles with the same kind of stuff. So I want this to be a safe space for agents to kind of express what they're experiencing, get some advice from myself or others, and hopefully give you some information that you can take away immediately to help you grow your business or have more confidence, okay? I asked earlier what some of those topics might be. I'm really prepared to talk about anything. The first suggestion was pricing discussions. Is there anything else that you guys would like to cover today?
Hey, Bill, could you just do me one favor before we get started? You've explained this to me before, but can you tell me what fee simple is one more time? I keep forgetting.
Yeah, so fee simple, you see this in, fee simple is like, I won't say the opposite, but it's oftentimes compared to condominium ownership. So in condominium ownership, when you buy the piece of property, you're basically buying the sheetrock and the space inside the walls, right? That's what you own. The HOA generally owns the structure itself, right? The HOA that you are a part owner of owns the structure, but your ownership is really just the contents, okay? The walls and fee simple, that you oftentimes see that in townhomes, that is, you actually own the ground the townhome sits on, and you own the structure, you own the roof more than likely, and you own the windows and the doors and the facades and that kind of stuff. So fee simple is just a different way that you would own the property. And oftentimes in townhomes, because you own the structure itself, you're paying a different type of homeowner's insurance for it, which generally is more expensive than the insurance that you would have on a condominium. However, it works the opposite, because on a condominium, the HOA fees are generally higher because they include the extra insurance for the extra stuff that the HOA owns. Does that make sense? I know that was kind of wordy.
Yes. You know, I'm just going to send you the warranty deed in this, because the property that I'm about to list, everything says it's a condominium. The owner thinks it's a condominium, but then when I got the legal description from Kern, it says fee simple.
Okay, yeah, send it to me. Let me see if I can figure it out.
Okay.
You could also call the HOA and see what they say.
Okay.
Send it to me, I'll take a peek at it though.
Okay.
Okay. Outside of talking a little bit about pricing, what would you guys like to speak about today? So let me ask you a different way. When you signed on to the class, what were you hoping you'd hear?
Something new.
Something new, okay. All right, cool. So that's my challenge, no problem. What else? All right, let's talk about pricing. Let's see where that goes, okay? Who was the person that wanted to talk about pricing? Was it Heather? Was it Kim?
Bill, right before that goes in, can we take just a second? I was talking to Sergio for just a moment after that last phone call with Robin.
Yeah.
And Sergio makes films. That's what he does. It's his profession.
He does what?
Makes films.
Okay.
And he said, since we wanted to do that like 30-second video, so like do something to have something to put up there. He said that anybody that's in the launch group, if we get together and do something, he's willing to make a sample video for each person in the launch group of PC. So
wow.
one video to put up. And then if you want to use the services later, you can, but he'll do the one just because if we all get together and do it.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
So this
Could
is
you-
Hi.
Cool. Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Sorry, how you doing?
If you could, maybe that's something that you could like do like a quick video of you and your business and your offering. And then maybe Heather can post that in the group and see who's interested. And then we can talk through timing and, you know, what some of those details are. Would that sound good?
Yeah,
Yep.
I got a website, so you can take a look of the videos that I do.
Yeah, perfect.
I have the cameras, like this is one of the cameras that I use.
That
I'm
looks expensive.
filming a movie right now with this. This is another camera, which is bigger.
You look like the real deal.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
My wife's a photographer. Her camera's like half that size, and I know how expensive it was. So.
Yeah, like this lens is $6,000.
Yeah, I know. We have a few of them.
anyway. We can
Cool.
get back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. So Kim, you were the one that brought up price, right? If you could give me the exact scenario that you would like me to confront that topic with, that'd be great. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll give you the address that I'm about to list, and then we can do that.
Okay, we could do
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
Let me get into the other. Let me come in on my computer as well. Oops. Let me come in on my computer as well, and we can try to share a screen, and we can touch on that stuff. Absolutely. Give me just a second to get my screens organized, and then I will be ready to do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and let me quiet all of the. Hang on. All right, you guys can still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do you see FMLS now?
No.
Looks like it's loading.
I'm trying to do like. I might have overloaded this thing. Hang on. Okay, did it work now?
No, it says you're sharing it, but it's not there.
Okay, hang on one sec. It says it's not responding. All right, there we go. Did it work now?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So you want to go in and try to determine what the price is, right?
Yeah, like just get everybody's advice on what they think. Because she
Okay,
wants
cool.
a 3 in front of it. I think it should have a 2 in front of it. But
Okay. Cool. Go ahead. What's the address?
it's 6467 Chariot Street, Chariot. It's in Sandy Springs, 30328.
Okay. So here's the way. Is that a townhome?
Yes, and it's in the subdivision is the Promenade. Promenade at North Place.
Yeah. I can already tell you that neighborhood is a. You have to be very careful the way you search for that neighborhood, because some people will call it North Place, some people will call it the Promenade, some people will call it the Promenade at North Place, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's on Chariot Street, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I already clicked here. You can see I'm looking at residential detached. I'm sorry, residential attached,
Yes.
right? So first what I'm gonna go in is try to find something that's on that street, right? There we go. So then I would know where the property is located.
Yes.
Then because I already know that that is going to be, like you said, it's already in this neighborhood. I already know that.
Mhm.
right? I'm going to go a different way, and I'm going to look at where it is on the map, right? And so I can see that it's on Barfield, right? Barfield, like the Mercedes-Benz headquarters, is right there.
I can't see there's nothing showing on your, it's just a black screen.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is identify where, like, what the boundaries of the neighborhood are. So now I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go back to criteria, and I'm going to type in half a mile, and I'm going to type in that address, right?
Okay.
Because what I'm trying to do, I'm going to get rid of that there. And what I'm trying to do is, so half a mile of 6467 Chariot Street, right? So now it pops up, see that? And then I'm going to go to results. Then what I'm going to go into is this, what do you call it? The map. I'm going to go ahead and check all of these. And then I'm going to go into map. And what I'm trying to do is identify where, like, I want to first look at the neighborhood. So you can see the neighborhood is like right there. See that? So actually, it's probably easier if I go back this way and I say criteria, and then I go to results, and then I uncheck all of them, and I go in and I check just the ones that are in that neighborhood, or some part of, where it says Promenade at North Place, right? Then I go through the rest of these. Here's another one at Promenade at North Place. Here's another one, Promenade at North Place. Again, what I'm trying to do is I don't want to type in North Place or Promenade and miss something, right? So I'm going in this neighborhood by neighborhood. Now I only know to do this because I know that there's a lot of confusion with how this is done. And oftentimes, see this Promenade / North Place condo, like, probably not a smart way to present it as a listing agent, right? Okay, so now I can go to refine, and that will show me, I have to hit narrow, so that will show me all the properties that are in this neighborhood. Everyone follow that so far? Okay, so there's one active listing. It's a 3.5 for $350. There's two pending listings. One that was listed for $364.9 when it went under contract, and one $335 when it went under contract. And then here are all the sales. So all three of these people are pushing the price, right? So what I would probably do first, after having seen this general, what I'm looking at here, is I would call I'd call the listing agents of the two pending listings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, hey, congratulations, Kimberly. I see you have a home at 815 Perennial, and I want to check the listing history, right? So I check the listing history by clicking on that, the little time clock thing, right? They put it on the market on the 9th of July. 2 days later, it's under contract. It looks like about a week later, it went back active, and then about 7 days after that, it went under contract again, and now it's pending. Okay, so I might say to her, when is it going to close? I look down here, it's supposed to close in 2 weeks, or a little over 2 weeks. So I might call Kimberly, and I might say, hey, Kimberly, I've got a listing coming up in the neighborhood, and congratulations, I see you sold that house really fast. As a matter of fact, you sold it twice really fast.
Yeah.
I know you can't tell me the exact number, but are you pretty close to that list price? Right? To which they might say, oh yeah, it's 364. Right? Remember, if you are a seller's agent, you want to be, you don't want to answer that question. Because let's say you say, yeah, it's under contract for 350, and then that deal dies, and then I get a buyer and I bring it, and I know that the seller is willing to take 350. I'm not going to give them any more than 350, right? So it's in your best advantage as a seller's agent, as a listing agent, not to answer that question. Doesn't mean you can't ask it, right?
Okay.
So say, hey, did you get pretty close to that number? And then they'll tell you whatever they tell you. Oh yeah, we're over asking price. It was multiple offers. Great, thank you so much. Okay.
Do you see, Bill, where it says how ownership is condominium? See,
I
that's,
saw that. Yeah, I do see that. Yeah, I don't think that it is, to be honest, but I would call the HOA and go ahead and send me that legal and I'll take a look at
yeah,
it.
I sent it to you on the WhatsApp. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, and this one is larger than the one that I'm gonna have because hers is a 2-2.
Okay, so hers is a 2-2.
Yes.
All right. I don't see anything on this about condominium ownership. Do you?
I did not. All I see is fee simple, but for some reason the owner thinks it's condominium, and every time it's listed, all the ones I've seen listed have been condominium.
Okay. I don't think so. Call the HOA and check.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I'd call, even though this particular person's only got a 2-2,
Mhm.
I want to know what's happening. So I'd call the two listing agents that had the pending listings, right? So this one is pending after a week on the market at 364. Let me rephrase that. It's pending. It was listed for 364.9 when it went under contract. However, we do not know what the sales price is, right?
Right.
Okay, next. Here's one for 335 that was pending. So is this a 2.5? Is that what your client's got?
Nope. All I have is 2 bedrooms, 2 full bath.
One level?
Nope. 2 levels.
Okay, so it doesn't have that extra half bath?
Right. She does not.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we want to really try to identify what's different here, right? What's the square footage different, that kind of thing. So
This is an end unit, so that's probably, some advantage. Hers is in the middle.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so this one came on the market on the 10th of June, and 18 days later it went under contract. Interestingly enough, that came back on the market too, and then it went pending, although the dates are a little funky. So that may have only been off the market once. So what we know is that 23 days on the market, it's probably not all that far off from that price, but I would call her and ask and see what you can find out. So let's go back to the agent single line review. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify
See the last one, Bill? The last one that was closed in there, that was just this one, yeah, this one. That's
Yep.
very similar to hers, almost the exact, looks just like that.
Okay, good. So what we know, first of all, I mean, I've been in the business for a long time, so I know a lot of agents, right? So the first thing I always do is I look to see if I know any of the agents, because I can call the agents and say, hey, tell me what I need to know, right? Which, by the way, is advice to, again, just like we're teaching you how to grow your database of buyers and sellers, grow the database of people that you can, get into deeper relationships with, and using those deeper relationships, be able to benefit your client and you in the long run, okay? So what do we know here? We know this property is very similar, right? We can look at pictures to make sure that, the type of finish. Look how great these pictures look, by the way. That looks great. Don't you think?
Yeah, they look good.
Those are good pictures there.
Yeah, so it's the exact same house.
Okay, so here's what happened during that listing period, okay? So this is back, close to a year ago, right? So it went on the market for $314. 3 weeks later, down to $310. A week and a half after that, down to $299.9. And then it took almost 3 months at that price in order to get a contract.
Yep.
Then it went back active, and they lowered the price another $10,000. And then it took another almost 3 months in order to get them down to the whatever they're at right now, or whatever it's sold at, which is
$289.
$289, and they paid $289.9, and they paid $5,000 in closing.
Yep.
Okay, so what do we know about 314? Out of the roughly 8 billion people in the world, not a single one of them was willing to pay 314 for it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then there was no one willing to pay 300 either. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now we have to look for evidence that this place might be worth more than 289. Okay, so then we got to go up here and say, okay, well, let's look at these other sales. Okay, so here's a sale of, like here, I would call Jimmy and say, hey, Jimmy, tell me about this deal. Jimmy's a good guy. He's one of the top agents in the Sandy Springs office, right? I'd call him and say, hey, Jimmy, tell me what I need to know. So this place sold for 327. It's a 3.2.5. Okay, next, here's one that's a 2.2.5. And that sold for, but that old one was 3 days on the market. This one's 3 days on the market, 317, right? So why would anyone pay over 317 for a 2.2 if they bought a 2.2.5 for 317, right?
Yeah,
So let's
that's
move
my
on to-
point. Right.
Let's move on to the next one. Here's a 3.2.5. This one sold for 309 with $6,000 in closing cost. Okay.
Yep.
So here's a 3.2.5. Let's look at the pictures. Let's make sure that this home was in good shape, right? It looks a little bit more sterile, right? Still a great looking place, good pictures, right? Appears to be in pretty good shape, right? So let's see how long it took for this one to sell, right? It came on the market for 335. Didn't work. It had to go down a month later to 330. 2 weeks after that, 327. 2.5 weeks after that, 325. 2 weeks after that, 320. 3 weeks after that, 315. 2.5 weeks after that, 310. And they're playing games. 2 weeks later, 309. And then it took a month at 309 in order to get a contract. And what did it sell for? It sold for 309 and $6,000 in closing cost.
Yes.
If it was me, I'd probably price that home just by looking at what I've seen, and I'm not quite done yet. But just from looking at what I've seen, I'd probably be right on the nose 300 and see what the market does.
Okay.
Okay, not 299.9, by the way. Hate that. Okay, we're not selling T-shirts here. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, now, so after having reviewed this data, what I want to say to myself is, great. I think that if I price it at 300, okay, it's considerably lower than the other active listing in there, right? Which is this one right here, which, by the way, we want to take a little bit of note of, right? So 350 does seem to be pretty high. So let's see how the market has responded to that. So that's only been on the market for 8 days at 350. Quite frankly, I think that's pushing it. There's nothing that sold anywhere close to that, right? And so Shelby Peterson, I think, has overpriced her property. We shall see, but a lot of other homes in there sold in less than a week. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so you come on the market at 300, which is above the last sale for the same unit, and a little bit below the last sale for a 3.2.5, right? And we say, okay, I think the price should be right around, I'd say somewhere between 290 and 300. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So I want to place in Sandy Springs. Oops. I want to place in Sandy Springs, and oh, I know how to fix that. Pam showed me something one day. You just go to this thing right here, right? Where can you look for recent searches? Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to, now, quite honestly, in a 2-bed, 2-bath, it's not typically going to get bought by somebody who cares all that much about school districts. Is that fair to say?
True. Right.
Okay, so we got to think about who our people are, right? Who's our likely suitor going to be? Who's our likely purchaser going to be?
Exactly.
So I might
who
say,
she was, right. Young professional person.
exactly. They tend to care more about amenities and security and upgrade and that kind of thing, right? So let's go in and create a different search. No, we're no longer going to care about the location. Instead, we are going to look for property that, let's say, is in area 131, which is Sandy Springs. It's priced from, let's say, 250 to 350. Okay, and it's got at least 2 beds, and at least 2 baths and at least 2 beds, right? Why is there no matches? What did I do wrong? It's clear.
There's no address in there, is there?
Yeah, you didn't put the county or anything?
No, though the area would take care of that. Oh, I put it in FMLS number, my bad. So area is right here, 131, Sandy Springs. Okay, price is 250 to 350. Okay, I want to look for actives. I want to look for all this stuff. And I want to look, okay, hang on. And I want to look for at least 2 beds and 2 baths. Okay. So I'm an active buyer. My budget is somewhere in the neighborhood. I could afford a 290 to 300 home. So now we're looking outside of the community and we're going to try to figure out, is there anything else I would buy instead of this woman's property, right? So let's say that, let's look at, okay, so if I want a 4, so down here, let's just look at the actives for a second, okay? Let me try to clean this up. Let's just look at the actives. Later on, we'll go in and look at the sales to make sure we'll check our analysis here in a second. Okay, so basically you were looking for, oh, here's a 3.5 for 289. So would I consider buying this place for 289? It's got more space rather than Kim's seller's listing? I don't know. Let's check it out. Right? It's got a little bit different of a feel. Right? It's got a little bit older style kitchen. Right? So this place is available for 289 and it's got an extra bed and bath. So the question becomes is, what would cause somebody to intentionally go buy a 2-2 when they could have this? Follow? So understand that if you price your home above this, you are giving the market a chance to buy this one first. Okay? This one hasn't been tested that long, only 2 weeks at 289. Right? It's a little different. It's a different community. You know, I know this streets well because I used to live over here, but it's off of Colquitt. It's like little close to the highway. You know, it's a very small subdivision, right? So again, this is where it comes into play is you need to understand, well, what else could a buyer buy, right? So let's see what else is available. Results. So then you get down here and you can buy a 3 2.5 or a 4 2.5. These are, I don't even know if I would consider this comps. These are much older, much less appealing options, okay? So now let's go over and let's examine. We could even go in here and say it needs 2 beds. So anything that's 3 or 4 beds, we've now eliminated because we've already kind of done that analysis, right? We've identified that one property that we might want to have in our mind. The buyer's going to be competing with that one, right? And we say, okay, here's a 2 2.5 for 325, right? Let's see what the listing history on that's been. Okay, here's a 2 2.5, 315. Let's see what that community looks like. Let's see what the listing history on that one is, right? So here's one. It was a coming soon, and then it came on the market, and that was 8 days ago. Okay, so here we go. This property is something that your buyer may consider, or your future buyer may consider. Okay, this one's at 315. So, okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, here's a similar community. Okay, don't you think that looks kind of similar? Here's a 2-2 on 2 different levels for 289 or 298. Okay, I don't know this agent. I checked that first. Let's see what the listing history has been. Okay, they started at 305. Interesting. Maybe Kim, your seller needs to see this one. Hey, you think it starts with a 3? I don't know about that. Look what happened when they tried 305, right? They went from 305. 3 weeks after that, they went to 304, which is essentially a giant waste of time. That's not going to do anything, right? And then 2 weeks after that, they lowered it to 300. 21 days after that, they lowered it to 298. Okay, so Kim, I'd probably go into this home before I priced your seller's home. Okay, this is absolutely a piece of competition for you. See what I'm saying? So look at footage, look at upgrades, look at location within the community. Is it gated? Do they have a fitness center? Do they have a pool? Like, why would somebody choose this place over yours or yours over this place? Make sense? This is absolutely a piece of competition for you. You follow?
Yep, I'll check it out this weekend.
Okay, same thing here. This is not quite as much of a comparison. This isn't quite as, how would I want to say this, like kind of upscale as the next one. By the way, can I give you some feedback on this? If you guys have taken a listing before, there's about 1,000 different things that you could put in here. This is just a lazy agent. It's not enough. Follow me? Lazy agent. Please call for access, new paint, new carpet, new hardwood, new water heater, new appliances, renovated master bath. Somebody is literally going to pay you 10 grand when you sell this place, and that's all you got? Come on. See what I'm saying? That's why we have a bad reputation. That pisses me off.
Maybe it's the agent's house.
Even worse. Damn. Get serious about your job, for crying out loud. Okay. This is a similar location. Okay. So if you can see where my thing is right here, that's your neighborhood. And that is the location of this. Actually, the Serrano's right here. I don't know why that is mapped weird. Okay. Now, one thing you're going to have to fight, Kim, unfortunately, is there is a ridiculous amount of traffic in that intersection. Right?
Yes, it's horrible. And they're doing construction.
Yeah. But the Serrano is a building that's similar age and it's similar, level of update and that kind of thing. Now that is a condo. That is a straight up condo. It's not. It's you're within a building, for example. It's a 2-2. It's all on one level. It's nice. Looks nice and high. There's Mercedes, right? That's right by exit 5 of 400, and it's right around the corner from the intersection of Abernathy and Roswell Road, which is crazy busy. And Barfield is a pretty popular cut through. Okay, now here's one that's available for $275. It's possible, like, again, I just think, especially as being a relatively new agent, this is a perfect time to go and check out a unit like this. Go get familiar with this building, know where the pool is, meet the concierge, right? Know where to park, these kind of things. Because you might get somebody that inquires on this property and then you end up going to sell them this home. See what I'm saying?
Great idea.
So now we look at this and we say, well, what's the listing history there? Okay, well, it started on June 10th, went for 270. That's strange. And then they ended up turning around and increasing the price to 275, and it's still available. How's that working out for you, Joy? Probably not that well, right? And this clearly isn't something you need to worry about, right? So what that's telling me is 300 is probably pushing it a tiny bit. I'd say your list price should be between 290 and 300. Definitely should not be a whole lot above 300. If it was me, I'd probably put it at 300.
Okay,
Assuming it's in like
sounds good.
awesome condition.
I know. She has some repairs. I have to go check and see if she's done them.
Okay. Does that help, guys? Oh,
Definitely helped me. Thank you.
another way to do this, or another important thing that you could do, is get rid of the actives and instead put the pendings. Or I'm sorry, the sales. So then we go in and we say, here's that sale for 317. Here's another sale within Hammond Heights, that one that we said was pretty close. That sold for $298 and $6 grand in closing cost, right? Then we move to the next one. It's also in a similar, it's also an ends unit. It's 2.2, $295 and $200 in closing costs. Okay. See, here's one that's in the community at 2.2, $289 and $5. Right. However, yeah, that was 2 months ago. So then you look at the sales and you say, okay, well, that's not a comp, just simply by looking at it, right? Here's a 2.2 sold for 270, which shows me that that person at 275 and it's been there for 2 months, they probably need to lower their price a tiny bit. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Here's another one for 270. Those, again, a little different. They're condos rather than townhomes, but it's roughly the same size square footage. Carroll Manor is much older. Islands at Sandy Springs, it's a little further away. It's a 2.2 for 265 and a half. Right, check to see if I know the agents, that kind of thing. Here's another one in the Serrano for 265. Mount Vernon Towers, that's an old age home. Huntington Place is older. Carroll Manor is much older. Colquitt Terrace is that other neighborhood we looked at. Glen Ridge Park. So you see how I kind of analyze that?
Yes.
I'd say that 300 is probably pushing it. 290 is probably a better price. The question is what else is available, right? So I'd say somewhere between 290 and 300.
Thank you, Bill.
Does everyone kind of follow how we did that? It's essentially, it's like, number one, how is it going to compare with whatever else is available? Another look at it, another approach is what has sold, right? Or what has gone under contract and how attractive was that? Another approach, of course, is what is sold and how did it compare, right? Because any buyer, buyer's agent, or appraiser is going to look for that data and say, hey, they only paid $289. Why would I pay more? Hey, you're going to pay more because there's only one of these available. So if you want it, it costs $295. You want it? Yes or no? Right? I would say that there's a ton of evidence for this place selling for $290, not as much for $300. I might have that straight. I might say something very similar to that. And if I felt like I was going to lose the listing, if I kept it at $290, I'd probably give it to her at $3, so she sees a $3 at the beginning. And then I'd wait for the market to tell her $290 was correct, if not. Okay. But $320 or something like that, no, not a chance. Make sense? What questions do you have about what you saw? Ebony, Heather, Brian, you're so quiet.
It's been very helpful. Between today and Wednesday, it's been great. Thank you.
Good, because I forgot to hit record on Wednesday.
Oh no.
I hit it, but for some reason it's not converting. So I'm glad we did this today. Okay, any other questions? All right. I know we have a few people that are. Ebony, could you go back into your reporting? I think there's a mistake in how you reported this week. And
I just went back in there. What else? Did I still do something? Hold on, let me exit full screen. Wait.
Yeah, I just refreshed it. Let me see if that fixed it.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's still there. It says you went on set 10 appointments and held 10 appointments. Is that true? You did?
But well, wait. Okay, so I'm a little confused because
Okay.
you know I've been working with the curtain team a lot. So they'll send me people, and,
Yep.
and as they send me people, I reach out to them and then I go tour the property like immediate. So I was counting that. Should I not and pull back on that?
So no. You should do each unique one. So if you met with one person 3 times, just count that once.
Oh no, all of these were different people.
You've met with 10 different buyers.
Yes, for this
Damn.
property. Well, no, but they were no, but they were like looking for rental property. Like, so they just sent me the leads, and as they were sending me the leads, like over the course of the past week, that's what I've been doing. I just go tour.
If you're meeting them for the purposes of a rental, I would count that as a contact and a database ad, but I would not count that as an appointment. The appointment should just be with buyers and sellers.
Okay, so let me,
Okay, but you didn't count how many contacts you've had, so make sure you go back in and add that. For those that have a meeting today, it's just you, David?
Yes,
All right, I'm gonna stop the recorder, go to the bathroom, and I'll be right back with you, okay?
sure.
All right, guys, have a great weekend.
you too.
Thanks, Bill. You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great.